What's this from BusinessInsider.com? This is one of those things I'd say would bring a smile to my face, but I'm suffering from silver goldman syndrome right now. So if I try to smile, it ends up kind of cracking it. Like these little crevices now. George Soros warns the European Union is on the brink of collapse. And Trump is partly to blame. Now, of course, this was actually posted several days ago, but it's very relevant right now because the G7 meeting just happened. And I love the picture of all the world leaders and Angela Merkel like on the table like this, like, you know, looking. Like has his face like, what do you, sign it. And Trump's like this. And if you look closely at that one image, there's one guy off to the right with like a little folded piece of paper. It looks like he got a pen in his hand, like they're pushing in front of him. Sign it. Please, Mr. Trump, sign it. Why? Because you guys have been riding off the backs of the American taxpayer. America. Tariffs on us, no tariffs against you guys. What sense does that make? 270% dairy tariff to Canada that they're charging us? We don't do anything like that back to them. And yeah, Justin Trudeau with his freaking eyebrow. I gotta see if I can find this. Matter of fact, it was on Godlike Productions. It's probably still there. What we got here? Soros, yeah. That's interesting. Breaking. Crisis at the National Archives. Obama records are missing. That's interesting. Justin Trudeau eyebrow. It's not on Godlike. Here it is. You gotta love this guy. We gotta see this. I mean, look at this right here. Don't you worry, child. J-Snip has some glue for you. Don't you worry, child. J-Snip has some glue for you. So yeah, the global elite are not even kind of happy with Donald Trump. When he said he wanted to make America great again, he was not. He wasn't kidding. And again, I'm over here covering some of the stuff. Why did he hire that guy? Oh, man, Trump, man. Oh, no. Goldman Sachs again. Oh, damn. Guys, I hate to do this, but I got to do a video on this. Check this out. Later on, oh, that guy's fired. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's stepping down. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. George Soros warns the European Union is on the brink of collapse and Trump is partly to blame. Billionaire investor George Soros believes that Europe is in the midst of an existential crisis and is at genuine risk of ceasing to exist as we currently know it, unless drastic changes are made. Well, let me add one. You may have just seen my previous video. Italy. There's a new sheriff in town over in Italy. Get the migrants the hell out of here. We don't want to take any more new migrants coming in. The European Union, the Euro, we're pretty much going to print our own dollar and get the hell out of that thing. Oh, wait a minute. What happened before that? Brexit. That's right. Brexit happened. I said it before. I'll say it again. That was one little brick being taken out. All in all, they are just a brick in the wall. Dun, 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 dun. It is time to start taking out the bricks. No, open borders and this and that. No, that's a globalist agenda. And Donald Trump ain't playing that. Neither is Italy. And what we thought was Britain. We'll see how that goes. They're still dealing with that whole Brexit thing. Anyways, the European Union is mired in an existential crisis, Soros wrote in a blog for Project Syndicate. For the past decade, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, he said. Soros effectively argues that some in the bloc has moved so far away from its founding goals. What the? Little moth flying above me. From its founding goals that the EU can no longer sustain itself in its current state. There is no longer any point in ignoring the reality that a number of European Union member countries have explicitly rejected the EU's goals of ever closer union, Soros said. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys put in rules. And one of those rules was there would be no bailouts or anything like that of the banks. And then you bailed them out. And then you wouldn't do any bail-ins, and then you bail the bank in. Remember Cyprus and Greece, mainly Cyprus? And then you did it. We won't do it again, and then they did it. So now what they've been doing is quantitative easing like we've doing. They don't call it that over there. And just buying up all these companies and bank stocks and shares. Just keep it flowing. Let's give them all this money. Like I've said before, wouldn't that be wonderful if you could start a business, go public, you've got stocks and shares now, and you've got an entity that has a printing press, and it's going to print money, and as part of that duty, it's printing it specifically for you. So your company is going to become extremely valuable, even if it's an empty store with no business, because you're public, and you're part of the bailout club now. And that's what's happening in Europe, and it hasn't really stopped. The last 10 years have been crucial in this shift. Since the financial crisis of '08, the EU seems to have lost its way. It adopted a program of fiscal retrenchment, which led to the euro crisis and transformed the eurozone into a relationship between creditors and debtors. The creditors set the conditions that the debtors had to meet, yet could not meet. This created a relationship that was neither voluntary nor equal, the very opposite of the credo on which the EU was based. As a result, many young people today regard the EU as an enemy that has deprived them of jobs and a secure and promising future. Populist politicians exploited the resentments and formed anti-European parties and movements. Yeah, that's kind of how that works. You put in policies, we can't repay this debt. It's debt that you guys threw upon us anyways to begin with. Remember Greece, we don't want it. Nope, just let us go. Nope, here's a freaking loan shoved down your throat. Oh, you can't pay it back? Yeah, we told you we couldn't pay it back. That's why we didn't want it. We told you we couldn't pay it back. There'd be no way we could pay it back. And you gave it to us anyways. You forced us on it. And our crooked politicians, of course, accepted it. And now we got to pay it back, and we can't. So you're going to give us another loan with conditions. And the conditions are, we take all of your public works, train station, buses, water work. It's all ours if you can't pay it back. Wait a minute. We already told you from day one we couldn't pay it back. Now you're giving us a second loan and even a third loan. And then Christine Lagarde from the IMF, we need to talk about privatization of the assets in Greece to give to the creditors. Oh, that stands for taking public stuff and giving it to private parties. That's what privatization is. Oh, all those tolls you guys pay, stuff like that goes back to infrastructure? No. Not anymore. Now it goes to the shareholder bonus of some private company. See how well that works? So you as a young person wanting to get out there and contribute to society and get a job and start a family and a house and, live the whatever dream, American dream, the Italian dream, the European Union dream, whatever dream you got. Just dream. You're on hold. Why? Because you're a younger adult, and young adult unemployment is effing astronomical in the entire European Union, which means you're going to live with your parents maybe till you're 30 or 40 years old, because we got to pay back some loans that we knew you guys never could pay back from the beginning. Can you understand why these anti-EU and anti-status quo politicians are getting elected left and right across the planet now? The people have had enough. So it's nice to see that old George Soros is a little bit upset. Hey, George Soros, don't you have an Antifa riot to fund somewhere? Whatever happened with all that? You almost don't even hear about it. The last thing I heard was Portland, Oregon recently. It was a little few Antifa people. Nobody's there. There was almost enough people to fill one of Hillary Clinton's, school auditoriums when she was campaigning. When like 10 people would show up. Almost as many Antifa people showed up, from what I heard. Pretty good numbers. Take care.